The screen fades in on a cramped, beat-up classroom in Bakersfield, California. Late afternoon sunlight spills through cracked windows, slashing shadows across desks carved up from years of rough use. Textbooks, half torn and falling apart, teeter in messy stacks on a shelf. A chalkboard looms up front, scribbled with equations that twist like a riddle begging to be cracked. Intense, gorgeous, alive. In the corner, 17-year-old Maya Torres hunches over her desk, dark hair yanked into a sloppy ponytail, eyes blazing with focus. Her pencil tears across a notebook, nailing a differential equation that'd make college kids cry. Classmates shuffle out after the bell, their whispers buzzing like flies. Some sneak stares, half stunned, half creeped out. Maya's zoned out, locked in a world where numbers block out the chaos beyond these crumbling walls. The door groans open. Ms. Ramirez, a weathered teacher with warm eyes and a frayed cardigan, shuffles in, hauling graded quizzes. Pride flickers across her tired face. Ms. Ramirez. Maya, still here? Bell rang 20 minutes ago. Maya snaps upright, pencil stalling. She flashes a shaky grin. Maya. Sorry, Ms. Ramirez. This equation's been eating me alive. Ms. Ramirez leans in, eyeing the notebook. Her jaw drops a hair. Ms. Ramirez. Holy cow, Maya. This is PhD level nuts. Where'd you snag this? Maya. Online mostly. Library's got some trash books too. I just gotta figure stuff out. Ms. Ramirez dumps the quizzes, drags a chair over, voice dropping low. Ms. Ramirez. You're a damn miracle, kid. This dump, busted tech, slashed funds doesn't deserve you. You're gold in a junkyard. Maya flushes, ducking her head. Praise slams her like a truck. Too much. Too loud. Maya. Thanks, but I'm just grinding to keep up. Mom's killing herself at the diner, and my brother's always on me for homework help. Can't slack. Ms. Ramirez gets it. The load Maya's hauling. She digs in her bag, pulls out a crisp official envelope. Ms. Ramirez. Then this might flip your life upside down. Came for you today. Maya snatches it, hands trembling. The seal screams, American Scholastic Championship. Her breath jams up. Maya, wait. This can't be legit, right? Miss Ramirez. Rip it open. See for yourself. Maya tears in, eyes racing over the words. Her voice cracks. Maya. Dear Ms. Maya Torres, you're invited to the American Scholastic Championship, the ultimate showdown for America's sharpest teens, at Stanford University. She freezes, staring at Ms. Ramirez, eyes popping. Maya. Stanford? Me? No way this ain't a screw-up. Ms. Ramirez. No screw-up, Maya. I threw your name in. Your scores, your projects. They're unreal. You've earned it. Maya grips the letter, heart pounding with thrill and dread. It's her ticket out, but a plunge into a world she's never dared dream of. Surprise twist. She's been secretly applying to colleges, hiding it from her mom. This could blow it all open. That night, the Torres apartment crackles with chaos. The TV blasts a game show full tilt, and Maya's little brother Diego, a scrappy 10-year-old, bounces on the couch, yelling answers like he's the champ. Their mom Rosa flips tortillas at the stove, still in her grease-stained diner gear. Kitchen thick with cumin and a shred of hope. She's wiped out, hands shaky, nearly burning a tortilla. Maya's glued to the chipped dining table, the letter splayed out like a golden ticket. She's read it a dozen times, but it's still a fever dream. Diego spots her zoned out, scrambles over, eyeballing the paper. Diego. Yo, Maya, what's that? You score big or what? Maya. Kinda. It's a shot at this huge competition. National. For brainiacs. Diego's grin detonates like a bomb. Diego. You're the smartest kid ever. You've got this locked down. Rosa spins from the stove, wiping her hands on a rag. A plate slips, shattering. She's running on fumes. Pride and stress war on her face as she stoops to grab the pieces. Rosa. Show me, mija. Maya slides it over. Rosa reads slow, lips twitching like it's a secret code. Tears spill down her cheeks. Rosa. Stanford? That's massive, Maya. But Palo Alto's far, and the diner's tanking. We're 2 months late on rent. They might shut us down. Maya's gut twists. This isn't just a win. It's do or die. Maya. Ms. Ramirez said they're covering it all. Travel, hotel, I just got a show. Rosa drops the letter, eyes misty with memory. Rosa. You've been busting your ass. Your dad would have flipped, happy flipped. He swore you'd save us. Maya's throat clots up, her late dad's ghost kicking her heart. She nods, faking a smile. Maya. What if I freeze? These kids, fancy schools, tutors, money. What if I bomb? Rosa yanks her into a fierce hug, voice iron. Rosa. Hear me, Maya Torres. You've got guts and smarts they can't match. Go show 'em Bakersfield bites, Diego piles on, fist pumping. Diego. Yeah, crush 'em, Maya. Maya laughs, the load lightening a tick, but fear sticks like tar. A week later, the camera sweeps over Stanford University's sprawling campus. Towering redwoods shadow sleek buildings, glass windows blazing in the sunrise. The air's electric. Students, parents, and reporters swarm, their chatter a hyped-up hum. Banners scream American Scholastic Championship, bankrolled by tech giants and Ivy League muscle. Maya stumbles off a shuttle bus, clutching a ratty backpack. Her sneakers squeak on slick pavement, dwarfed by the other kids' shiny kicks. She's in a faded hoodie and jeans, ponytail a wreck. Rosa's next to her, hauling a tiny suitcase, jaw dropped at the glitz. Rosa. This place, Maya, it's straight out of Hollywood. Maya. Yeah, and I'm the rando who crashed the set. She scopes the crowd. Kids her age, sharp, polished, yakking in tight crews, strut like they own it. Some rock blazers with crests, others lug laptops plastered with MIT and Harvard swag. The Gap's a canyon. A slick-haired prep school jerk, Preston Caldwell, shoves past, bragging loud to his posse. This, a layover before Yale. I'll mop the floor with these nobodies. Maya locks eyes with him. He smirks, sizing her up like garbage. She catches him mutter. Her mom's diner's toast, total loser. Her stomach flips, he's got her number. But she juts her chin up. Maya under her breath. All right, Torres, fake it till you make it. Rosa grabs her hand, squeezing tight. Rosa. You've got this, mija. I'll be hollering from the stands. They split. Rosa to the spectator zone, Maya to the contestant line snaking into the main hall, pulse slamming like a jackhammer. A volunteer slaps a badge on her. Maya Torres. Spelled wrong. She bites her lip, already a fish out of water. The auditorium was a jaw-dropping palace of smarts. Sky-high ceilings, cushy seats, and a stage lit up like a rock concert. Parents, teachers, and reporters hummed with hype, the vibe electric. On stage, the judges' table sparkled, nameplates screaming prestige. Smack in the middle sat Dr. Victor Langston, a giant in a slick suit, gray hair swept back like he owned the world. Sure, he was a math god, but his sneer at unpolished talent was just as famous. Maya grabbed a seat way back, heart pounding like a drum solo. Kids around her yapped like they were born for this, but she kept her eyes locked on the stage. Langston stood, and the room went dead quiet. He adjusted his glasses, voice rolling out smooth but slicing deep. Dr. Langston, welcome to the American Scholastic Championship, where the sharpest duke it out for the top. This ain't some pop quiz. It's survival of the brightest. For years, this show's minted the future of tech and science. He paused, scanning the crowd, zeroing in on the front row prep school clique. Dr. Langston, let's not kid ourselves. Real talent comes from discipline and a fat silver spoon. Some of you public school scrappers, you're out of your league, and it's obvious. Only the big dogs will climb. Snickers rolled through the fancy kids. Maya felt it like a punch, fist balling up. He meant her, small-town nobodies clawing up with grit and hand-me-down books. Dr. Langston, let's roll. May the best of the best take it all. Claps erupted, but Maya sat tight-lipped, jaw locked. She caught Langston's eye as he sat, and bam, a flicker of a smirk, like he knew her broke-down life story and loved watching her squirm. Bring it. Stanford's competition hall screamed classy, shiny, spotless, and intimidating as hell. Huge windows dumped sunlight over desks where kids hunched, laptops glowing like battle stations. The air crackled with nerves cut by paper rustles or a choked cough. Up front, a monster scoreboard glared down, blank but ready to shred dreams. Maya Torres parked at her desk, pulse slamming. She wiped sweaty hands on her worn jeans, breathing short. The room smelled like lemon polish and new money, a galaxy away from Bakersfield High's dusty chaos. She peeked at the others, rich kids in polos and slick kicks, oozing confidence. She felt like a trespasser, a nobody who'd crashed their party. A slick voice boomed over the speakers. Announcer, first round, people. Log in. Challenge drops and 5 Maya's shaky fingers punched her login. Then her screen glitched, freezing her heart before popping up. Maya Torres, Bakersfield High. She gulped. Bakersfield was a pit stop, not a powerhouse like Stanford or St. Augustine Prep. The challenge hit, a quantum computing nightmare, gnarly and way beyond her school's league. Maya's breath snagged. This was grad school stuff, but she'd burned midnight oil on free coding sites, cracking problems her teachers couldn't touch. She could do this. Timer on, the room went graveyard quiet, just keys clacking. Maya's brain fired up, shredding the code into chunks. Her hands flew, lines stacking like magic. The buzzer jolted her. Done. She slumped, winded but hopeful. She'd crushed it. Judges scanned submissions, stone-faced. Dr. Langston loomed, silver hair catching light, eyes pinning Maya with a smirk. Dr. Langston. Some early standouts. Preston Caldwell, St. Augustine Prep. Near perfect as usual. Preston, lanky and smug, kicked back, grinning like a king. A blonde nearby clapped, all starry-eyed. Dr. Langston. And Maya Torres, Bakersfield High. Cute effort, but sloppy. Plenty to fix. Maya's cheeks flamed. Cute? Her code was gold. She checked it twice. Langston's voice dripped pity, like she was a kid with a participation ribbon. Whispers spread. Snobby, judgy vibes. Maya felt like a circus freak. Small-town girl, way out of her depth. Dr. Langston. Excellence ain't just answers. It's polish, finesse. Some of you, long way to go. His stare dared her to crack. Maya's nails dug into her palms. This was war. The atrium hummed after the round, a glassy hangout stuffed with kids picking apart the challenge over fancy finger food. Maya stood alone by a window, staring at the perfect lawns, Langston's cute effort looping like a bad track in her head. Every word burned. A voice broke her spiral. Ethan, you're Maya, right? Bakersfield? She turned. A guy her age, curly hair spilling over a NASA hoodie, beat-up laptop bag slung low. His grin was chill, real. Maya. Yeah, that's me. Ethan. Ethan Chen, Oakland Tech. Your code was tight. Don't let Langston mess with you. He's got a hard-on for screwing over public school kids. Maya blinked, thrown by his straight talk. Maya. For real? Ethan. Oh yeah. He's hated on my school forever. But you're here. You've got game. His vibe loosened her up. Before she could respond, another voice jumped in. Lila. He's right. Langston's a snob with a badge. A girl rocked up, spiky black hair, nose ring, leather jacket over a question authority tee, tough as nails. Lila. Lila Patel, Detroit. Langston's all about those prep school jerks. We're here to shake his cage. Maya grinned, feeling a spark. These weren't the stuck-up robots she'd expected. They were her people. Ethan. Team up for the group stuff? I'm tech. Lila's debate. You're math. We'd kill it. Lila. Hell yeah. Let's shove it to the rich brats. Maya glanced at Preston, lounging with his posse, their cackles clawing at her. Maya. I'm down. But Langston's got me pegged as trash. Ethan. Screw him. You're here because you're dope. Own that. Lila. And if Preston pulls crap, we've got your 6. Like clockwork, Preston strutted over, smirk razor sharp. Preston. Ah, the loser club. Adorable. Ethan groaned, but Maya's gut twisted. Preston. Torres, you fluked round 1, but this ain't your playground. Stick to babysitting back in Bakersfield. His crew laughed. Maya stared him down, voice ice. Maya, I'll stick to kicking your ass without a silver spoon, Preston. The room hushed. Lila hooted. Lila, nailed it. He's toast. Preston's grin faltered, eyes blazing. Preston, laugh now. Scores'll shut you up. He bailed, posse in tow. Ethan slapped Maya's back. Ethan, epic. You're one of us. Maya finally felt steady. That night, Stanford's library glowed like a time capsule. Huge shelves, stained glass splashing wild colors over oak tables. Most kids had split, but Maya, Ethan, and Lila took over a corner, laptops and notes a total mess. The smell of old books and coffee hit Maya like a lifeline, calming her jangled nerves. She sipped from a styrofoam cup, the bite keeping her sharp. Ethan, next round's team time. We mix it up. Maya, math. Lila, debate and history. I'm tech. Lila, and we outplay those judges. Langston's out to tank us. Maya nodded, brain buzzing. Maya, let's hit 'em sideways. Math plus justice. They'll freak. Ethan, love that. Langston's all ivory tower, but we're street smart. Lila, damn right. Our hustle's our edge. Talk turned personal. Ethan spilled his dream of tech for the little guy, rooted in his parents' immigrant grind. Lila shared her fire for change, born in Detroit's rough patches. Maya soaked it up, her walls dropping. These were warriors, her squad. Then it got heavy. Maya's voice shook. Maya, my dad was a mechanic. Said school's the great equalizer. He'd stay up late helping me, even when he was lost. He bet on me. She faltered. Maya, he died when I was 12. I'm here for him. Can't let him down. Ethan grabbed her hand across the table. Ethan, you're nailing it. We'll win. For him, for us. Lila's eyes softened, but she got real. Lila, my mom's sick. Might have to bounce. But I'm fighting. For her, too. Maya, no way you're out. We've got your back. Lila nodded, tough again. She raised her cup. Lila, to underdogs. Let's bite the bullet and swing. They clinked, laughs ringing out. The competition's shadow faded. Friendship took over. Mornings slammed in with round 2, the hall buzzing like a beehive on fire. Teams camped at stations, screens flashing the task. Sustainable urban plan, housing, transit, green vibes. Ethan, this is our jam. Maya, numbers. Lila, fairness. I've got tech. They synced like pros. Maya's data crisp, Lila's points fierce, Ethan's design slick. They hit submit, trading quiet high fives. But the judges huddled, and Dr. Langston's scowl grew. He whispered to a guy whose eyes bugged out. Scores flashed. Announcer, Team Prestige, St. Augustine Prep, 92. Team Innovate, Oakland Tech, Detroit Prep, Bakersfield High, 78. Gasps hit the air. Maya's crew locked up. Lila, 78? That's bull. We owned it. Ethan, Langston's playing dirty pool. Saw him scheming. Maya glared at the board. Their plan was flawless. She'd triple-checked. Yet Preston's team smoked them. Langston's eyes hit hers, smirk tiny but smug. A taunt. Maya under her breath. This is rigged from the jump. The room cleared, but Maya hung back, catching a judge slip a flash drive in his pocket, all sneaky-like. Her gut screamed. This wasn't just favoritism, it was a con. She stormed up to him. Hey, our score's messed up. He flinched, fake smiling. It's done, Miss Torres. Deal Maya. Or what? Someone digs into that drive you're hiding? His face went ghost white, and he bolted. Maya's blood boiled. Langston was dirtier than a back alley deal, and that flash drive might just be the smoking gun. The Stanford Library was Maya Torres' turf, a quiet escape with its towering shelves and cozy nooks, shielding her from life's chaos. Tonight, though, it was a freaking pressure cooker, the air humming with tension. She hunched over a beat-up wooden table, her laptop's blue glow lighting up her face like a spotlight. Ethan slouched next to her, scowling like he'd just eaten bad takeout, while Lila paced behind them, her antsy vibe sparking like a live wire. No way this is legit. Lila snapped, her voice tight as she glared at Maya's screen. They tanked our score on purpose, again. Ethan dragged a hand down his face, exhaustion slugging it out with pissed-off energy. Langston's playing dirty pool. We knew he kissed up to the rich kids, but this? It's a whole new level of shady. How do we bust him? Maya's fingers tore across the keyboard, her focus sharp as a blade. She'd learned to hack messing with her dad's clunky old PCs, late nights of code and greasy pizza, just the two of them. Now she sliced into the competition's scoring system, eyes darting over digital chaos. Then she hit the brakes hard, her breath catching like a snag on a nail. "Hold up, check this out," she said, jabbing the screen. "This algorithm's messed up." Lila crowded in, her dark hair brushing Maya's shoulder. "Messed up how?" "It's handing out bonus points to legacy status schools," Maya said, keeping her cool even as her stomach flipped. "Fancy private joints, Ivy League feeders, they get a leg up. Public schools like ours? We're screwed before we even hit submit." Our project didn't stand a chance. Ethan's jaw clenched as he scoped the code. "That explains round 2 being a total crap show for us. It's rigged from the get-go." Maya nodded, digging deeper. "And get this, our file's tagged for manual review before the judges even peeked at it. Someone's pulling strings." Lila's eyes flared with rage. "So Langston's not just a stuck-up jerk, he's a straight-up cheater." The word landed like a brick through a window. Maya's gut twisted into knots. This wasn't just some unfair edge. It was corruption, a giant middle finger to the American science competition's fair shot for all bullshit. Calling it out could burn down everything she'd clawed for. Her spot here, her street cred, the scholarship she needed to pull her family out of the hole. But letting it slide? That'd choke her worse than the bills piling up at home. "We need rock-solid proof," Ethan said, all business. "Something they can't wiggle out of." Maya's brain flashed to the last round. A judge stashing a flash drive after a shady huddle with Dr. Langston. If she could nab that, they'd have him dead to rights. But swiping it? That was crossing into felony land, a dice roll that could land her in cuffs instead of Stanford. "I've got a hunch," she muttered, barely audible, "but it's a hell of a gamble." Lila's grin flashed like a switchblade. "Gamble's my jam, girl. Let's roll." Hours later, the admin office stood like a fortress, its glass doors pitch black under a moonless sky. Maya, Ethan, and Lila crept through the shadows, sneakers hushed on the carpet. Maya's heart slammed as she dropped to her knees by the lock, fumbling with a bobby pin and screwdriver. Tricks her dad taught her when he'd fixed more than just busted engines in their garage. The lock gave with a soft click, and they slipped in. Ethan hit the computer, cracking the password like it was kid stuff. Lila posted up by the door, stiff as a board. Maya tore through drawers, hands shaky as they skimmed files, pens, a lone paperclip. Until jackpot. A flash drive labeled ASC scoring data in boring black marker. "Score!" she hissed, waving it. Ethan plugged it in. "Copying, just hang tight." Boots thumped down the hall, heavy and way too close. A flashlight beam cut through the glass. Lila's eyes popped wide. "Guard, move!" Panic slammed them like a truck. Ethan ripped the drive free as Maya jammed papers back, her pulse a freaking war drum. They dove under the desk just as the door swung open, the guard's hulking frame blocking the exit. His light swept the room and then, clank, his keys hit the floor. Maya froze, squished against Ethan and Lila, holding her breath like her life depended on it. The guard grunted, bending down inches from their faces to grab them. One wrong move, and they were toast. He straightened, mumbling about crappy night shifts, and shuffled out. The door clicked shut, and they spilled out, gasping like they'd sprinted a mile. Back in the dorm, they huddled around Ethan's laptop, the screen's glare slicing the dark. The data was a gut punch. Years of cook scores, emails with Langston strong-arming judges who wouldn't play ball, proof of cash greasing elite palms. This wasn't just a slanted game. It was a scam in a fancy suit. "This is bigger than us," Maya said, voice hollowed out. "It's flat-out fraud." Ethan's eyes burned. "We've got to blow this wide open." But Maya stalled, her head spinning. Ratting out Langston would slap a target on their backs. He had pull, connections. the kind of juice that could squash a nobody from her side of town. Her mom's worn-out face popped up, her dad's gravestone. A scandal could sink them. Still, the injustice chewed at her like a junkyard dog. "What if they boot us?" she asked. "Or worse." Lila whipped around, fierce as a storm. "Then we go down swinging, Maya. This isn't just our fight. It's for every kid Langston's screwed, every dreamer he's crushed under his polished shoes." Maya's throat tightened. Lila nailed it. This was her dad's vibe, standing tall, even when the odds sucked. But then Ethan's screen pinged, a new email popping up from the drive. Her stomach plummeted as she read it. Langston crowing about taking care of a whistleblower. Her dad. That crash wasn't random. He'd been a mark. "They killed him," she choked, the room tilting. "Langston's why he's gone." Ethan and Lila gaped, floored. The game just flipped. This wasn't just corruption, it was personal. Maya's fist clenched, nails digging in. "We're doing this," she said, voice like steel. "But we do it smart." Morning hit, and the third round loomed like a dark cloud, but Maya couldn't get her head in the game. She parked herself solo in the campus cafe, the flash drive a brick in her pocket. Ethan and Lila were off prepping, giving her room to wrestle the bomb that dropped last night. Her dad's death wasn't some freak accident. Langston had a hand in it. The stakes were choking her. A shadow cut across her table. Preston Caldwell loomed, blazer crisp, smirk sharp as a shank. "Torres, you look like hell," he drawled. "Rethinking tangling with the big dogs?" Maya's eyes slit, fingers gripping her coffee mug tight. "Just mulling over how some assholes cheat their way up." Preston's smirk twitched, his gaze flicking to her pocket. "Watch your mouth. You don't want to wind up like your pops, buried and broke." Fury roared through her, hot and wild. She shot up, chair screeching across the floor. "You don't know shit about my dad." Preston leaned in, voice a low, nasty hiss. "I know he poked around too much, Torres. Langston made sure he paid for it. Stay in your lane, or you're next." He strutted off, leaving Maya shaking with rage. He knew Langston's reach was everywhere, and now her family was on the chopping block. She could expose him, make him pay, but at what price? Her mom's diner, her crew's futures, her own shot at college, all hanging by a thread. Later, she stumbled into the campus chapel, needing silence. Stained glass splashed wild colors across the pews, and she slumped into one. Thoughts a damn mess. She flipped the flash drive in her hands, whispering, "Dad, what's the move?" A memory slammed her. Her dad, grease-smeared and grinning, hunched over an engine with her beside him. "Sometimes, Mija, you gotta rip it open to spot the rot," he'd said, "even if it's ugly." Tears stung her eyes. This was her engine. Corrupt, busted, but fixable if she had the guts to dive in. She yanked her phone out and texted Ethan and Lila. "Let's bury him." The third round was a madhouse, the auditorium stuffed with teams and rubberneckers. Maya's crew moved like a tight pack. They'd win the round, then drop the hammer on Langston at the final ceremony. First, they had to dodge the punches. The challenge was a beast, a live sim of a global economic crash. 90 minutes to steady the ship, ethics versus profit. Maya's team played their aces, Ethan's tech chops, Lila's razor-sharp mouth, Maya's knack for turning chaos into cold numbers. They clicked like a machine, their fix fair and smart, propping up little guys over corporate sharks. Timer buzzed out. Dr. Langston's voice boomed. "Team Innovate, your takes. Out there, too dreamy for the real world." Maya's fists balled up. Their plan was gold, way better than Preston's cutthroat cash grab. Langston's bias was a punch to the face. "With all due respect, Dr. Langston," she said, voice steady despite the adrenaline spike. "The real world needs dreamers. That's how shit gets better." The room went graveyard quiet, everyone holding their breath. Langston's eyes narrowed, his slick mask slipping. "Dreams are for suckers, Miss Torres," he bit out, tone frosty. "Excellence means facing facts." "And keeping it real," Maya fired back. "Or did that slip your mind?" Gasps bounced around the crowd. Langston's face went beet red, his cool cracking wide open. "You're pushing it," he hissed. "Am I?" Maya stepped up, voice icy calm. "Or are you just scared of getting caught?" The air snapped with tension. Langston leaned in, his whisper pure venom. "You think you're untouchable, little girl? I've got buddies who can make your life and your family's a nightmare." Maya's blood froze, but she didn't blink. He just spilled it. Her dad, the threats, all of it. She'd hit the jackpot, and no way was she folding. Scores popped up. Team Innovate, 85. Team Prestige, 90. Maya's squad was still alive, but the gap was a razor's edge. One round left to flip the table. That night, they crashed in their dorm, the flash drive sitting on the table like a loaded piece. Ethan tapped his pen, antsy as hell. Lila sprawled in a chair, eyes blazing. Maya leaned by the window, staring into the void. "We've got enough to sink him," Ethan said, cutting the quiet. "Emails, payoffs, threats, but we've got to time it perfect." Lila bolted upright, grin wild. "Final ceremony, biggest stage, biggest bang. We win, then blow it up in front of everybody." "And if we don't win?" Maya asked, spinning to face them. Ethan locked eyes, dead serious. "We blow it up anyway, but winning makes it stick. He can't squirm out." Maya nodded, gears turning. She'd have to outfox Preston's slick moves and Langston's crooked game, all while hauling her team and her dad's ghost on her back. "Then let's lock this down," she said. They burned the night away, hammering their plan until their throats were shot. Ethan tweaked tech, Lila sharpened their pitch, Maya crunched numbers till they were bulletproof. By sunrise, they were wiped but wired for the showdown and the chaos they'd kick off. The auditorium crackled like a live wire as the American Scholastic Championship's final round kicked off. Spotlights slashed across the stage, lighting up the slick wood and the giant scoreboard glaring down. The crowd, parents, teachers, reporters, sat on edge, practically vibrating. Front and center, two teams squared off. Team Innovate, with Maya Torres calling the shots, and Team Prestige, led by Preston Caldwell, whose smug vibe could choke you. Maya planted herself next to Ethan and Lila, hands sweaty but jaw set. Across the stage, Preston's blazer screamed money, his smirk a weapon. His St. Augustine prep crew oozed entitlement. The scoreboard didn't lie. Team Prestige, 182. Team Innovate, 163. 19 points behind, close but a brutal gap. Dr. Victor Langston loomed at the judges' table, silver hair shining, all calm and kingly. But Maya clocked the twitch in his jaw, the nervous tap of his fingers. He knew they had him. Proof of bribes, fake scores, threats. He just didn't know when the hammer would drop. The announcer's voice cut through the buzz. "Final round, folks. Pitch your fix for a global mess. A fair, sustainable education system. Team Prestige, you're up." Preston swaggered to the mic, oozing confidence. AI's the game changer. Efficient, elite-driven. Top schools run the show, and merit picks the winners. Claps rolled in, but Maya's gut churned. Merit, code for screwing over anyone without a fat wallet. Ethan's frown deepened. Lila's fists tightened. This was Langston's playground, cutthroat and rigged. Then it was go time. Maya stepped up, heart pounding, voice like steel. "Education's not some country club. It's for everyone. Community tech hubs and peer mentoring level the field. It's not about who's on top. It's about who's been kicked down." The room went dead quiet, then buzzed. Langston stayed stone-faced, but his pen nearly snapped in his grip. The debate blew up. Vicious, no mercy. Preston threw shade at their fantasy, but Lila hit back with cold, hard stats. Ethan's tech talk was a knockout, and Maya roasted every cheap jab. The crowd ate it up. Langston's final question came, icy and loaded. "Ms. Torres, how do you keep standards with your raw resources?" She stared him down. "Standards come from owning up, not locking out. You'd know that if you weren't so dirty, Doctor." "Langston." Gasps erupted. His glare could have killed, but she didn't budge. The buzzer screamed, judges huddled, and Maya rejoined her crew, pulse hammering. "Lila, You slayed it, Ethan. We're in this. The announcer's verdict dropped like a bomb. Team Prestige, 95. Team Innovate, 94. 1 damn point. Cheers and boos collided, but Maya froze, gutted. Preston's grin was pure poison. Preston, tough break, Torres. Stick to the sidelines. Defeat clawed her, but her fingers hit the flash drive in her pocket. Game over? Hell no. The award ceremony was a glitzy circus. Velvet drapes, gold trophies, lights so bright they burned. Dr. Langston stood at the podium, smirking like he'd already won, ready to hand Team Prestige the crown. Maya, Ethan, and Lila sat front row, the flash drive plugged into Ethan's laptop, loaded with enough dirt to bury Langston 6 feet under. Her hands shook, but her spine was steel. Ethan gave a tight nod. Lila's grin was a razor. They were about to light the fuse. Langston's voice boomed. I'm thrilled to award Team Prestige the championship, a beacon of excellence. Preston strutted up, hand out. Maya shot to her feet. Maya, not so fast. The room went still, heads whipping her way. Langston's smirk flickered. Maya, y'all need to see this before the party starts. Langston snapped. Sit down, Ms. Torres. Ethan hit play and the screen blazed. Emails, bank logs, audio of Langston's slimy threats. The crowd gasped, then lost it. Maya, Langston's been rigging this gig forever. Bribes from rich schools, cooked scores, strong-arming kids to shut up. His whole empire's a sham. The place went nuts. Yells, sobs, phones flashing. Langston's face drained white, voice spiking. This is trash. Lies. Maya, we've got receipts, money trails, emails, him telling me to zip it or else. This is for every kid he stomped on. Langston charged, snarling. You little... Security tackled him, pinning him as he flailed like a trapped animal. Preston stumbled, the trophy crashing down. Judges flipped through the files, shouting over each other. Maya's chest heaved, but she felt steady. The giant was cracking. Then a voice sliced through. Rosa, Maya's mom, shoving past people still in her diner apron. Maya, it's all over the news. Langston's busted for fraud and your dad's crash. Maya's brain stalled. What? Rosa's eyes welled up. They found proof. He sabotaged your dad's car after he sniffed out the rigging years back. The floor dropped out. Maya swayed, Ethan grabbing her arm. Langston wasn't just a crook. He'd killed her dad. The twist stabbed deep, but it lit a fire. This wasn't just about the win, it was blood. The aftermath hit like a freight train. Team Prestige's victory got torched in minutes. Their title ripped away as the scandal blew wide open. Langston was dragged off stage, reporters barking questions, cameras popping like gunfire. Sponsors bolted, swearing they'd clean house. The head judge, a silver-haired woman with a no-nonsense stare, stepped up to Maya's crew. After the evidence check and score redo, Team Innovate's the real champ. The crowd went wild, a wall of sound, but Maya barely felt it. Ethan and Lila yanked her into a hug so tight it hurt, their yells cracking into tears and laughs. Ethan, you pulled it off, Maya. Lila, team effort, baby. The trophy weighed a ton in her hands, not the medal, but the win, justice, revenge, a hole punched through Langston's kingdom. She stepped aside, staring at it, the noise fading. Her dad's face flashed in her mind, his goofy grin, his rants about fairness. He'd died chasing this fight, and she'd finished it. Tears stung, but she swallowed them. Then a surprise hit. A woman in a sharp suit pushed through, Dr. Patel, a tech CEO who'd been in the back row. Ms. Torres, your solution's got legs. My company's funding a pilot. Your team's running it. Maya blinked, stunned. For real? Patel smirked. Dead serious. You've got grit. Let's make it happen. Ethan whooped. Lila punched the air. Maya's knees nearly buckled. This was bigger than a trophy. It was a shot to change things for real. Langston's downfall wasn't just the end. It was her beginning. The auditorium crackled with a weird electric hush as Dr. Victor Langston got hauled off stage. His fancy suit crumpled, his face twisted into a sneer. Just minutes ago, Maya Torres and her squad had blown the lid off his scam. Cooked scores, bribed judges, a competition rigged to screw over kids like them. Now the place went nuts. Gasps, yells, and the non-stop snap, snap, snap of cameras. Reporters shoved forward, mics waving like weapons, their voices a messy blur of, "How'd you nail him?" and "What's next for the champ?" Maya stood dead center, gripping the championship trophy. Its gold surface winked under the lights, heavy as hell. A prize she'd once figured was a long shot for a Bakersfield girl with no clout in a broke-ass school. But the trophy wasn't what had her heart pounding. It was the win they'd clawed out, the giant they'd taken down. They'd smashed a system built to keep her kind buried. Ethan threw an arm around her, grinning like he'd hit the jackpot. "We pulled it off, Maya. We actually freaking did it." Lila, her spiky hair a wreck from the chaos, let out a victory cackle. "Hell yeah, we did. Langston's toast and we're the damn kings." Maya blinked, the word champs hitting her like a freight train. The head judge, a silver-haired woman with steel in her spine, stepped up, her voice slicing through the racket. After a full review of the evidence and recalculating the scores, Team Innovate is the rightful winner of the American Scholastic Championship. The crowd lost it, applause and cheers slamming into them. Maya's mom, Rosa, bulldozed through the mob, eyes wet as she yanked Maya into a bone-crushing hug. Diego, her little brother, bounced like a maniac, fists pumping. "I knew you'd do it, mija," Rosa said, voice thick. "Your dad, he's beaming right now." Maya's throat locked up, her words a rasp. "I hope so, Mom. God, I hope so." The press swarmed, cameras flashing like a thunderstorm. A reporter jammed a mic in her face, panting. "Maya, a source just leaked Langston took bribes from tech CEOs. How's it feel to bust that wide open and snag the win?" Maya shot a look at Ethan and Lila, then faced the chaos. Her hands shook, but her voice was ice cold. "It feels right. This wasn't about some trophy. It was about leveling the field, not letting fat cats run the show." The reporter scribbled fast. "Next move?" Maya's smile was quiet but fierce. "Keep fighting, for all of us." That night, the madness died down, and the campus shimmered under a soft twilight. Maya, Ethan, and Lila sprawled on the library steps, the cool stone steadying them after the day's insanity. The trophy sat between them, snagging the last scraps of daylight, but their eyes were locked on the horizon. Ethan kicked back, hands behind his head. "So, what's the encore?" "We're champs, Langston's roadkill, and the world's watching. Feels like we could take on the damn universe." Lila smirked, elbowing him. "Don't get too full of yourself, Chen. But yeah, we're unstoppable." Maya traced the trophy's edge, her mind drifting to her dad. His voice hummed in her head, steady and warm. "You don't just patch up what's busted, mija. You make it shine." Her chest tightened, tears stinging her eyes. She blinked hard, forcing a shaky breath. "My dad always said education was the great leveler," she said, voice low. "Didn't matter where you started. If you hustled, you could climb." Ethan's grin softened. "Smart dude." "He'd be losing it today," Maya said, her voice cracking before she reeled it in. "Not just for me, but for us. We didn't just win, we punched a hole in the system. Now we've got to keep swinging till it's dust." Lila's eyes glinted with trouble. "Langston's just the warm-up. There's a whole lineup of jerks out there." "Then we'll take them out one by one," Maya said, staring at the stars. Lila leaned forward, grinning like a kid with a secret. "Oh, and get this, I got a call today. Full ride to MIT. They saw our project and freaked out." Maya's jaw hit the floor. "Lila, that's nuts." "Guess we're already rolling," Lila said, shrugging like it was nothing. They sat quiet, the bond between them thick as steel, forged in the fire of their fight. For the first time in forever, Maya didn't just feel hope. She felt a rock-solid certainty. The war was just getting started. The next day, the championship's closing ceremony played out in a hushed auditorium, the scandal's stink still hanging heavy. The stage was set for one last moment. The head judge stepped up, her silver hair catching the light. "Before we wrap, we'd like to hear from Maya Torres." Maya's gut flipped, her palms slick as she smoothed her jeans and hit the mic. The crowd leaned in, faces a mix of awe and hunger. Her voice wobbled, then locked in, fierce as hell. This whole deal was never just about a trophy. It was about proving genius doesn't need a trust fund or a ritzy address. It's in every kid burning the midnight oil, every hustler who won't back down. She paused, eyes sweeping the room. We took on a system that tried to shut us out, and we won. Not 'cause we were the loudest or the richest, but 'cause we were right. That's the deal. Integrity's non-negotiable. Truth's a monster. And when you fight for what's fair, you're never solo. Applause roared, a tidal wave crashing over her. Maya spotted Rosa front row, tears cutting tracks down her face as she mouthed, "Te quiero." Maya's chest swelled, her dad's spirit pulsed in every word. Then a shocker. Preston Caldwell, her smug rival, stepped up. His usual smirk swapped for something real. "Torres, I misjudged you. You've got balls." Maya blinked, floored. "Thanks, Preston. About time you noticed." He cracked a grin, no edge this time. "Gotta step up my game now." She nodded, pride edging out the surprise. The room kept clapping, and Maya stood tall, the weight of their win sinking deep. After the ceremony, Maya, Ethan, and Lila hung back. The trophy, now a badge of their grind. The cameras had cleared out, but their story was just firing up. Ethan paced, hands jammed in his pockets. "So what's the next play? College? World takeover?" Lila snorted. "Both, duh. But first we gotta keep this alive. Langston's gone, but the game's still a total scam." Maya chewed her lip, doubt creeping in. "What if we can't keep it going? What if they shove us back down?" Ethan stopped, staring her down. "You kidding? After today? No way." Lila nodded, fierce. "We've got the juice. Let's double down." Maya exhaled, rallying. "Okay, we start a coalition. Public school kids, activists, anyone who's been screwed over. We push for real transparency, for competitions that don't play favorites." Ethan grinned. "And we blast it. Blogs, podcasts, whatever keeps the heat on." "I'm down," Lila said. "Let's shake the damn tree." Maya's heart thumped. Together we're a freaking force. Then Ethan dropped a bomb. "Oh, and some tech startup scouted me today. Saw our project, called it game-changing. Wants me in." Maya gaped. "Ethan, that's massive." He shrugged, smirking. "Guess we're already making noise." They locked eyes, a silent vow sealing their next step. As the sun sank low, painting the campus gold, they stepped off the stage. Not just champs, but game changers. Weeks later, Maya sat at her kitchen table in Bakersfield, the trophy parked next to her dad's old toolbox. She was hammering out an op-ed for the local paper, laptop buzzing. Diego burst in, eyes blazing. "Maya, they're talking about you on the news again," he yelled. She smirked, messing up his hair. "Yeah? What's the word?" "They called you a trailblazer, and the competition's flipping 'cause of you." Maya's chest puffed, but she played it cool. "It's not just me, kiddo. It's all of us. Mom, you, my crew." Rosa swooped in, wiping her hands on a towel. "Damn straight. Now eat before your food's cold." Maya laughed, shutting her laptop. Then a letter slid through the mail slot, Stanford's crest stamped bold. Her breath caught as she ripped it open. A full ride scholarship. Her dad's voice whispered, "You did good, mija." "Damn good," Diego bounced. "I'm starting a coding club at school 'cause of you. Gonna keep it rolling." Maya grinned, yanking him into a hug. The fight wasn't done. More ceilings to bust, more battles to wage. But for now, she'd soak in this win, surrounded by her people.